Today's game features Rameshbabu Praggnanandhaa playing as white against Fabiano Caruana as black. Move 1. White advances the pawn to e4. Gaining space. Black occupies the center with the pawn, preventing counterplay. White now plays knight jumps to f3, a flexible pawn structure. Black completes minor piece development. We have the Giuoco piano. Move 5. White plants the bishop on c4. Black activates the bishop early. Meanwhile, white pushes to d3. Black advances to d6. White pushes forward to c3. Moving forward, black develops the knight to f6. White kingside castle, securing the king. Black pushes to h6. White develops the knight naturally, keeping options open. Black expands on the side. On move 15, white deploys the bishop to b3. Black castles short to safety. Meanwhile, white advances the pawn to h3. Black responds with pushes the pawn to b5. Activity on the queenside. White rook swings to e1, opening lines for the pieces. Black pushes the pawn to a4. White plants the bishop on c2. Black slides the rook to e8, opening up the position. White plays develops the knight to f1. Black plays bishop slides to b6. Move 25. White pawn to d4. Black bishop moves to d7. Now, white places the knight on g3. It's black's turn. Reroutes the knight to a5. And here, white advances the pawn to b3. Black brings the knight to c6, creating threats on the opponent's position. White pawn takes pawn on a4. Preparing the final assault. Black pawn strikes, capturing the pawn. It's white's turn. Bishop removes the pawn, missing the best continuation. Black knight captures the pawn on d4. We're at move 35. White pawn takes the knight. Black bishop captures the bishop on a4. White slides the queen to d3. Black plays pawn strikes, capturing the pawn. White knight snaps off the pawn. Black knight to d7. White develops the bishop to b2. Black knight to e5. Demonstrating perfect technique. White deploys the queen to e2. Black now plants the bishop on d7. Move 45. White knight hops to f5. Cutting off the king. Black king to h7. Improving piece activity. So, king enters the battle. Black pushes the pawn to g6. White pawn to f4. Meanwhile, black pawn captures, removing a key defender. It's white's turn. Pawn takes knight on e5. Black advances the critical pawn, improving the position quietly. And here, white maneuvers the knight to h5. Black pawn captures, removing a key defender. We're at move 55. White slides the rook to d1. Black brings the rook to e6, an inaccuracy. White bishop snaps off the pawn, not the best move. Interestingly, black deploys the queen to e7, a huge mistake. White deploys the bishop to f6, a model endgame performance. Black deploys the queen to e8. White repositions the queen to g4. Black queen shifts to g8. White rook captures the bishop on d7. Black rook captures pawn, moving closer to victory. A blunder. On move 65, white queen moves to f5. This creates a forced mate in 2. Checking the exposed king. This simplification helps. Fabiano Caruana resigns. Rameshbabu Praggnanandhaa wins the game.